Hi, my name is Tabitha Gaglianese. I'm a certified health teacher and obtaining my special education master's degree from Touro College. This video is for Dr. Levy's class. It's a 602 Introduction to Special Education. During this class we did research on differentiated instruction, and I decided, since it was such an interesting topic to me of special education, to do my final video on it. According to our textbook, which is Introduction to Special Education, Making a Difference, 6th edition by Deborah Smith, published in 2007. Differentiated instruction is designed to improve access to the general education curriculum by adapting instruction to each student's diverse learning needs. In other words, instruction is adjusted in response to students' readiness, interests, and learning profile, whether the student is struggling or accelerated. Differentiated instruction for most cases is used in special education classrooms, but I really believe that it can be used in any classroom, because fitting a student, you used to be making the mold around a student, not fitting every student into the same mold, because one size does not fit all when it comes to education. There are several different authors of differentiated instruction. The one that several articles attribute the idea to is called, his name is Tomlinson, and identifies 3 elements of the curriculum that can be differentiated: content, process, and product. The first one, content, is the subject matter at a specific, as specific by the curriculum. This is basically the heart of the lesson. What we're looking at is that you can adapt content by using a variety of books and resource materials that are different reading levels and interests. And then the other thing that a teacher can use is a learning contract. This learning contract is an example of 4 activities that are geared towards a student's strengths, and it gives the student an opportunity to learn outside of his preferences also. You're using multiple intelligence during this time, and that's something I will discuss in a little bit. The next thing is process. Process is how the student takes or learns the information. It is basically a way to do this, to differentiate your instruction, is using small groups that are flexible for each activity. During these groups, a teacher can reteach lessons to certain support groups. If you take one group and they're all at the same level, you put those students in that group together, and you can reteach and offer support to just that one group, whereas the other groups can accelerate at their own level in the activity. This also gives you an opportunity for peer teaching, reading buddies, learning centers. That all fits into the process component of differentiated instruction. The last one is product, and that's basically the assessment and the end result of the lesson or knowledge base that you're looking for. I will admit that I am the teacher, I've been the teacher that gives that multiple choice unit test that we all fall into. This differentiated instruction is looking for teachers to hone in on student strengths and what they're going to be interested in, to show you the information that they learned during that lesson or curriculum. Examples to highlight student strengths are, you can have them write a story, a poem, write a book report, play or perform a play, debate or investigate an issue, design a model or a game, or create a mural or song, or compare or contrast something. If you give them that opportunity, you may see that they actually know more than what they showed on the unit test, because they're using their strengths and their interests to show you that information instead of just spitting it out on a paper. And maybe they'll actually even learn it more than spitting it back out on a paper to us. I know that this can look very difficult and overwhelming and confusing and going, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do. How much more can I do to make it? But I promise it's worth it if you go through this process. And an article by Deborah and Shelley Hipsky depict the teachers becoming ringleaders of a 3-ring circus. The illustration here shows that the 3 rings are factors for presenting content, process, and product in your differentiated classroom include your students' learning profile, ability, and interests. As you As you look, the teachers need to work within those 3 factors to be able to be the best at differentiated instruction. They become the ringleaders of the classroom, and you can be too. The first step is getting to know each student's learning profile. Each student, basically this is just looking at, okay, how do each of my students learn? And there can be several that we're dealing in a classroom. So for you to do this firsthand is awesome for you to be able to teach each student in your classroom. The way I do it is the Gardner's multiple choices, or the multiple intelligence quiz. This works best for high school, so you have to look into finding this adapted for childhood or elementary if that's what you're looking for. Go into Google, type in Gardner's multiple intelligence test. And I like to put the printable because in my school it's very hard to find a computer lab that, I can get all of my students to work in the same place. So I do the printable, and this also integrates math into this lesson where they are figuring out their steps. It asks several different questions as we scroll down and see that. And at the end, with all of those questions and a mathematical equation that they do, they find out you are a kinesthetic learner, an auditory learner, a visual learner, a musical, or anything. They find out. They may find that they are 2, they are just 1, they are 5. The best for us is to know what they are. And also, it's awesome for the student to learn because in the end, they now know, how do I learn? Which is great. The next thing that you need to do is assess your student's ability. This can be the hardest act of your circus, such as the tightrope. The tightrope in circus, I think, is a really hard thing to do, and that's what teachers are doing every single day. You have students of a million different abilities in your classroom, and you have to walk that fine line, that tightrope, and stay up there, because if you fall to one side or the other, you make something too challenging, your students will get frustrated and lose it. Whereas if you make something too easy, your students get bored and disruptive for you. So it's very difficult to walk that tightrope, but you have to, because in the end, it's best for your students and the ability that they need. The next one, and the last way to do that for your looking at your ability is looking at a Bloom's taxonomy. That is basically, there's an example that I have on here of an insect knowledge Bloom's taxonomy. If you're a teacher, you know what Bloom's taxonomy is. This is just an example for insect knowledge. That's another way to integrate your children's abilities and figure out your children's abilities in your classroom. And then the last one is interests. This can be done easily by talking to each student individually, getting to know each little smile and interest, each little smile in your classroom. But if we don't have a lot of time sometimes, so we have to do it quick and get it going quick. And an interest inventory is something that we can really get to know our students quickly. Here's an example from Scholastic Printable. It's a wonderful website to go to check things out. And what happens is you can look at this and have the students answer these questions. What do you like most about school? What do you like least? What's your favorite book? What do you like to watch on TV? What activities do you do by yourself? What activities do you do with your friends? Getting to know your students and getting to know their interests is a great way to differentiate your instruction to each student so that they enjoy and you have them sitting on the end of your seat, onto their seats when they're learning. So basically, that's how you can get differentiated instruction into your classroom. I wanted you to see my references. I have several different references of for this presentation. And I thank you for watching. I hope that you learned something about differentiated instruction. Once again, my name is Tabitha Gaglianese White for Touro College 602 Special Education with Dr. Levy. Happy teaching!